Alan, watching Free Speech TV on the Dish Network in Lake City, Florida. Hey, Alan, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Tom, thanks for taking my call again. This may be a real stupid question to a lot of people that listen to your show, but I'm really not 100% sure why the radical Muslims are trying to kill us, or bombing them, blowing themselves up, and to kill, us. I don't understand it. I don't know. I can't get my head around it.
Well, let's step into the Wayback Machine here, and first of all, the modern Middle East, Iraq, for example, these countries were all basically carved up by the Western powers after World War I. In many cases, ignoring tribal boundaries, like the Kurds, for example, which used to be a nation. Part of the Kurds are in Turkey, part of the Kurds are in Syria, part of the Kurds are in Iraq, and all three countries like to beat the crap out of the Kurds, and the Kurds just want independence. And so you've got these kind of and Sunni Shia positions and all this kind of stuff. So there was this kind of simmering tension from the get-go, and these countries were relatively stable by virtue of the fact that there were Western-supported dictators in charge of them. And that's been going on since the 50s, basically. So you take that, and then Osama bin Laden, when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan back in the 80s during the Reagan administration, there was this Saudi guy by the name of Osama bin Laden who went to Afghanistan to fight against the Soviets. We adopted him. We funded him. We created an organization called the Mujahideen. You can watch a movie about this called Charlie Wilson's War if you want to know what I'm talking about. Charlie Wilson was a Republican congressman who fought for the funding during the Reagan administration for bin Laden. Bin Laden succeeded in throwing the Soviets out of Afghanistan. Ta-da! Hey, we're cool. We're strong. He went back to Saudi Arabia. He's the son of a Saudi Arabian billionaire family. Went back to Saudi Arabia, and he was at that point, such a devout, hard right Wahhabist Muslim, and the Saudi government since the 1930s have spent billions of dollars exporting Wahhabism, which is the far right fundamentalist form of Islam that bin Laden was practicing. Bin Laden went back to Saudi Arabia, and he became furious about two things. One was that during the first Gulf War, during the George Herbert Walker Bush administration, during that first Gulf War, Saudi Arabia let us build an Air Force base, the Bin Sultan or whatever it is, Air Force base near Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and we still had that occupied by American soldiers. So on the sacred land of Saudi Arabia, you had women driving cars and showing their elbows and men drinking alcohol and watching porn. And that was unacceptable to bin Laden, number one. And number two, we were buying oil from Saudi Arabia for $30 a barrel, and bin Laden thought it should cost $100 a barrel. So he notified us in 1998 that he was going to attack the United States if we didn't do something about those two things, close that Air Force base and stop basically stealing the oil from Saudi Arabia. We ignored that. Well, we didn't quite ignore it. Bill Clinton actually tried to kill him twice. Republicans went on the floor of the Senate of the House and ridiculed him for it after he sent 3 cruise missiles into Afghanistan and missed bin Laden by 30 minutes. But, the Republicans made a joke about it. Bin Laden got his revenge on 9/11. And even at that point, most of the Muslim world did not hate America. It was just bin Laden who was really upset about what happened in Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, we invaded Iraq, and we created 5 million refugees and killed several 100,000 Muslims. And at that point, I think the entire Arab world got upset with us.